Hi. Zen Freeskates daily blog, day 29. Fuck. Okay, unbelievable. And you don't even know the half of it. Hello, everyone. I don't really know what to write right now. Things change fast and in such unbelievable ways that I cannot document them properly or hardly even process what happened. I will just tell you whatever is happening to me. I need you to know it is not easy. This is not easy. Loving yourself is not easy. Loving everybody is not easy. Don't get me wrong, once you start, it can feel easy and will only get easier. But once you begin to love everyone and you truly see the pain of the world, you will understand why, as love grows, so too does the pain. Which is why I now feel it is my duty to continue to support everyone in any way I can as we attempt to grow individually and together. So I use these writings to attempt to look back at my days and quickly highlight some important notes that may reflect some of the truths of my life. Unfortunately, I can never tell you everything. Since I battled the trolls, the following is just a tiny amount of what happened, and I am so incredibly exhausted that I please ask that you do not expect a daily blog from me. I am going to attempt it, but I hope you never grow to expect it, because no matter what, it will stop one day. I love you. A new family moved downstairs April 1st, 3 days ago. One of the individuals is an incredibly angry person. The morning after my battle with the trolls, I found out just how angry they can be when they woke me up because of her yelling at Bonnie, my roommate and friend, that her dogs were outside, preventing them from taking their dog out. Now, when I say being woken, I do not mean gently. I woke up with a start, even though they were on the other side of the house. I also feel I have to say that this anger comes from a person who is constantly, which is daily for 4 days, complaining to the landlady that we are walking all day. The anger was palpable from a distance and in my sleep. I did not have the energy at that moment to deal with it, so I had to go back to sleep and pray that everybody was okay. I knew I would be able to help my roommate, but I also needed my energy to properly do so. By the time I was actually able to get out of bed, she was gone, which was probably a good idea. A breath of fresh air and getting out of the house can often help clear our mind. I knew that when Bonnie came back, she was going to be upset and that the situation was most likely not solved. So I did something I have only done once before. I called the police. Not 911, of course, but just an information line, and I wanted to know what was the best way to deal with the situation and if there was any way we could prevent future verbal abuse. Unfortunately, once the moment is over, the only legal action one can take is to take it to civil court, which sounds very complicated and doesn't offer any immediate protection whatsoever. And so for now, we are dealing with things the way I know how to, with as much love as possible. That is so very complicated when it comes to these situations. So I am taking my time and being patient and seeing what the options are, and seeing if I can see a bit more of who she is and how I can show her what I see. Of course, change will always only come from the individual. But my great power is to allow you to see yourself. Because I am a mirror, but I am one of love. I do my best to show you who you are, and as gently as possible. If I am not gentle, then that is probably because I think you need it. I know. How could I know what love is? Just trust me, okay? Do you have faith? Look at me, see yourself, and love. Does that sound weird? Because I am weird. I am so weird. Okay, so we knew we had to clean the garage and yard soon because, well, 'tis the season. And so I suggested that we just try to clear our minds by doing some good old-fashioned physical labor and just get moving and cleaning. I think that worked to at least allow Bonnie and I peace for the day. I have been constantly reminding Bonnie to not allow people's anger to affect her. She is easily affected by others and wants people to love her, and I have shown her how her desire to have people love her has the opposite effect and is actually bad for her well-being. It can be difficult to understand why, but being loved by others is irrelevant. I know I say I love you, but in the end, you shouldn't really care. Me showing my love to you is just teaching you how to be alone and find peace in this chaotic world. And then, only once you know who you are, can we all begin to connect while remaining individuals. We must love ourselves first, and the ones we need will see us and love us. We find two things happen almost immediately once we do this. One, we find a greater sense of peace because we have found it within, on our own, without the affirmation of anybody or anything. This is power. Two, people who use us or manipulate us may become angry that they no longer have control over us. And this is where people who are practicing self-love may struggle. Not only do you appear to lose their love, but you now receive the opposite. Trust that their anger is not at you or what you are doing, but simply the fact that they no longer have control over you. And they realize that all along, their strength was you. So they will feel a bit empty, but really, they will just be returning to a more normal state, from a state where control over others gives you power, and you drink from the power greedily. This is a common state in many fields and many people. It is an unfortunate thing that happens, but the only way to remedy it is by loving ourselves and showing the would-be controllers that their power is limited, like all powers should be, to themselves. So as the day went on, I grew, and so too did the truth of things. This angry person and the way Bonnie and I dealt with it, and the fact that I could see my friend's self-love growing right before my eyes. I just knew I was onto something. So I committed, hard and fast. That is always how I do things. When I know I must do something, I do not mess around. I do it to the best and fullest of my ability. So, here we are. What's next?